This anime debuted in 1999, the same year as SpongeBob SquarePants. This anime is based off of a manga that was debuted in 1997. Both of them are still going strong in the year 2021 and still going. It hasn't been completed. This is probably one of the greatest epics in shonen history. This is probably one of the greatest animes in my opinion when it comes to storytelling and world building. This is Ichiro Oda's magnus opus, One Piece, and I'm finally reviewing it as a fan, as a lover of storytelling, on this episode of Movie Breakdown Series Review, and we're only reviewing One Piece Season 1, Part 1, the first 30 episodes, because Season 1 is actually like 61 episodes. So let's go ahead and jump into it. On this episode of Movie Breakdown Series Review. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdown Series Review. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's Movie Breakdown Series Review? It's a movie review series, a TV show series, an anime review series where we look at anime, TV shows, movies, individual movies, and then put them together in a series. Such, for example, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, etc., etc. Grade each individual movie, each individual season, each individual episode. Not really episode, but give it each one its own grade, A through F, plus minus its due count, and at the end of it, we give it all a grade. A complete series grade, plus and minus its due count as well, A through F. And there's a series you want me to review, or anime you want me to review, or TV show you want me to review in general, please put in the comment section below and I get to it the best I can. Also have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka for $2 a month. Your request is to jump in front of everybody, and you get other reactions like such as trailer reviews, trailer reaction, stuff way before it comes out on Facebook and YouTube, stuff that doesn't even come out on Facebook and YouTube. You get it all on Patreon just for $2 a month. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of One Piece Season 1, Part 1. Yes, Part 1. Like I said, I had to cut this into two halves. The reason why is because 62 episodes or 61 episodes is a lot. And I decided to split it up. So this first half, and this is going to be spoiler filled, so you have not seen One Piece, go watch it, then come back. And the biggest thing, people say, well, I can't go watch One Piece. And you're like, well, how come? It's too long. It's not done. And that always made me stop and think, because I'm like, you seen Naruto? Yes. You seen Dragon Ball? Yes. You seen Dragon Ball Z? Yes. You seen Dragon Ball Super? Uh-huh. You seen Naruto Shippuden? Yep. You seen Boruto? I'm working on it. Why you're telling me One Piece is too long, but yet you're watching Naruto and Boruto, which is still the same story of Naruto. You're watching Dragon Ball Z, which is still the same story of Goku. What's the difference? What's the difference? Oh, because the fact that One Piece didn't stop and change the name to One Piece X or One Piece Z or Zorro. You know, it's a horrible excuse. Just, if you're gonna watch One Piece, take it bit by bit. I am doing it now for this review. I love One Piece. Matter of fact, I had the very first manga. I got this when I was in high school and middle school, and then I had the latest manga, which is 97, that was published in America, that came out in August, and 98 comes out in December. But I had the very first one, and I have the last one published right now at the time of this recording. I will begin 98, and then online the Shonen Jump series was much larger, longer along than I am right now in the mangas. But this is something that I've watched when it came on TV, and I watched the Funimation version, and I also watched the 4Kids version. And going back and rewatching this now as an older adult, the first 30 episodes, which is pretty much the collection, gather the crew, the first 5 main characters of the crew. This is that storyline where you get in the first 5 characters, and also at the point of this review there is a One Piece live action Netflix series that's going to be based off the first 5 characters, or the first 5 crew members of the Straw Hat crew. So this review is about that, and I watched the 4Kids version growing up. The yayo dreaming, don't give it up Luffy, dreaming, don't give it up Zorro, dreaming, don't give it up Nami.
Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Here's how the story goes. We find out by the treasure in the grand line. There's no doubt.
Hey, like the whole pirate rap song, the voice is different, the voice cast is different, and the puns and the goofiness, which you can find on YouTube. You can find the 4Kids versions on YouTube, bits and pieces, but you can't find the actual episodes. Like, if you're one of the lucky few who have the DVDs, save them, because 4Kids completely wiped their hands away. Funimation just completely took it out. If you go back and watch the first, season of One Piece, you're gonna get the Funimation version. You're not gonna get the 4Kids version, which is quite a treat. Like, I will have to do a comparison video, but some of the dialogue and some of the edits in the 4Kids version is, whew.
That's a wipeout.
But the voice acting in the 4Kids version, to me, sits more in my heart than the Funimation version. Especially Sanji. Which Sanji, if you listen to the 4Kids version, he sounds like a New Jersey, New Yorker Barney, the dinosaur.
Yes, I would stoop to becoming a pirate or even a demon if only I could be with you, my dearest Petunia.
But it works for some reason versus Trunks from Dragon Ball Z voicing Sanji, and then Krillin, who voices Usopp in the Funimation version. The 4Kids version, Usopp works just as fine, and I think they work a lot. There's one character which I'm not going to talk about on this episode. It might be in season 2 or season 3. I'm actually go off I think it'll be season 3 when that character gets introduced, but I don't like how 4Kids handle, I don't like how Funimation handle his voice acting in when I get to that character versus the 4Kids version. I think it did a better job. And to me, when compared to the 2 companies working on One Piece, I think 4Kids did a good job with the voice acting, the voice selection. I just think them over censoring everything really hurts them, and them trying to change some few wordings around to make it more Americanized, and some of the things that the characters said really hurts them, versus Funimation kind of staying true to the actual dialogue of the characters and actual I kind of watch this in dub, so the actual like dialogue of the characters in Japanese, like, and yeah. But I like both. I don't think anyone is worse. I think they both do a good job. Now let's go ahead and get into what's the story about. So One Piece is about this boy named Luffy, who I believe he's 18 at the time, 18 or 17, a young boy who's going off to sea to become the king of the pirates. Now, what is the king of the pirates? Well, there's a treasure called One Piece that's at the end of the Grand Line that was once founded and left behind by a guy named Gold Roger. And Gold Roger, when he died, he said, I left everything behind in one piece, which started off the great pirate era. And Luffy is off on a journey by himself to go and find One Piece to become the next king of the pirates. But in order to do that, he needs a crew. So this first 30 episodes, he is trying to get a crew together. And not just anybody, he is one of the people he connects with, one of the people who have good hearts and good spirits, and find people that are his friends. And that's what Luffy really is doing on these first 30 episodes, is finding friends and having them join his crew. And he like people code of honor or the way they move through life. He's like, I like you, you're a good person, I want you to join my crew. And he is different from most pirates in this series. a lot of pirates you meet are cutthroat. I don't care about other people. I don't care about friends. I do what I want to do. I want to be the best. I want to be the strongest. If you're in the way, you get shot down. I don't care your friend, foe, or whoever, you're getting destroyed. And Luffy has a lot of those conflicting views against other characters like Captain Kuro, Don Krieg. The way they move through life, Luffy doesn't agree with it. Luffy's like, I don't care if you are the lowest person on this crew, you are my friend and I will fight for you. I will go to bat for you. And one thing about One Piece, I would say, it gets better as you watch it. I remember watching the first episode, it was like, not as strong. And then I watched the second episode, like, okay, it's getting better. Then you meet Zorro, sorry, not Zolo, but Zorro. And you're like, okay, this is getting good. It's getting really good. And then Kobe leaves. So Kobe's here for a moment, then he leaves. And then you go off and you meet Nami and Buggy the Clown and that whole arc, and that happens. And then you go to Usopp and meet Usopp, and Usopp joins the crew, and that happens. And then you finally meet Sanji and versus Don Krieg, and that happens. Like, it builds on itself and it gets better and better. To me personally, one of my favorite arcs within the first 30 episodes is Captain Kuro versus Luffy in Usopp's arc. I don't know, maybe because I like Captain Kuro as a character, I like the design, I like Usopp's backstory, that story rings out more to me than the Baratie arc, or the Baratie if you watch it in Funimation, arc where Luffy needs a chef, needs a cook for his ship. So he goes to Baratie, which is a floating restaurant on the sea, and meets Sanji. And the Don Krieg stuff is kind of cool. You finally get Mihawk versus Zorro, which is a cool scene, a cool fight. But to me, the Don Krieg stuff is like, man, I don't like Don Krieg as a character. And the Funimation voice actor for him is not as strong as the 4Kids. 4Kids make Don Krieg sounds terrifying. Funimation just makes him sound like a whiny dude. And his voice doesn't match his build. Now, I would say one thing what One Piece does, and Ichiro Oda does a good job, is storytelling. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but like each area he goes to, because season 1, part 1, the first 30 episodes, you're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different towns, or 5 different areas. But he's able to give backstories on characters where you are now like kind of getting attached to them. You learn more about them. Like, heck, the Buggy the Clown arc, you get a backstory on this puppy or this not even a puppy, a dog that protects this building, because his owner, that was like his owner's treasure, and that what minded the dog, and not just the owner's treasure, but the dog's treasure too. His treasure was his owner, and when his owner never came back or passed away, the dog was keeping the place safe, and he was on guard the whole time. And it gives you a little backstory about this dog that you probably won't meet again, but you get this little backstory on this dog, and the dog turns around and kind of helps Luffy out in the end, which is kind of cool. But like, Oda does a good job giving you stories on characters, and even side characters that you might not even meet again. He gives you backstory on it where you can feel for them, you understand why these characters are fighting each other and what they're trying to accomplish. I think one thing that hurts me with the Don Krieg arc is that you don't get a backstory on Don Krieg. You get why his ship has been destroyed and everything, but you really don't get much to get attached on. Gin, you get more attached to Gin, which, because he's the first guy you meet from the crew, from Don Krieg's crew or Don Krieg's armada, and you understand why he's in the way he is, how he got where he was. You get a little backstory on him, and he had a little more empathy and sympathy for that character, which Oda does a good job, and maybe that's the way Don Krieg is written, not to have empathy for. Captain Kuro, I probably like Captain Kuro the most within the first 30 episodes, because you get a good backstory on him. You get why he becomes this butler and this meticulous plan to make this girl die in a few years so he can get the fortunes and riches, and like how he got rid of being a captain because he got tired of being chased. Like, you get a backstory on him, and Oda does a good job writing these characters up where you're like, man, I kind of wish I wanted more of this character from here on out. got a little bit, but I want more. You get a backstory on Usopp, you get a backstory on Sanji, you get a backstory on Zorro, you get a backstory on Luffy, which it is done differently than it is in the manga. Like in the manga, you start off with Luffy as he's young, but in the anime, you kind of get Luffy's backstory like within the first 5 episodes, and then Zorro comes in within like the first 20 episodes. You get his backstory. The only person you don't really get a backstory on within the first 5 members is Nami, but there's a reason for that in this season, first half of the season. The reason why you don't get her backstory yet. But everybody else, you get their backstory, and it just pretty much getting the crew together. It's a ragtag group of people. You're getting them together. Some who don't even want to be pirates. Some who's like, I actually want to be a pirate. Some who despises pirates kind of join this crew because they all believe in Luffy, and being around Luffy will have a good time. And he's not like other pirates. He's a kind-hearted character. But let's go ahead and get into the cast. So we have Monkey D. Luffy, who is your main character. He's the protagonist. Well, I would say this. I'll pause real quick. This whole crew is kind of like main character vibe. Not all of them are just characters who join in and then like within their arc that's it and they go off to the side. Oh, they're all are viable pieces to the story. They're not just side characters. They are integral pieces. There's a crew. And Oda writes them that way. He writes these casts as a crew. So each person has their own strengths they build into the crew. They're not just there to be their sake. So Luffy, I guess the Straw Hat crew, I should say, are the whole group, are the whole main characters. But Luffy is the captain. He is kind-hearted. Sometimes I wouldn't say simple-minded, because he has a one-track mind at times. When he's hungry, he wants food. He wants meat. But just a kind-hearted dude who really values friendship, and he talks about that a lot in the season. I didn't realize how much friends means to him in this season so far, and he talks about a lot of it. He brings up friendship the whole time. He talks about when Captain Krieg was slicing his own people up. He's like, they're your friends. How can you hurt them like that? Don Krieg, how he said Gin should just kill himself kind of thing. And Luffy's like, that's your crewmate, that's your friend. Heck, Luffy goes and fight Hawkeye Mihawk, who pretty much avoids Luffy, but he steps up to protect his first mate. So Luffy is really big on friendship and loyalty and trust within his crew and his life, because he grew up around, which is Shanks and the red-headed pirates, who are good pirates as well. Luffy grew up around them, and he saw how they treated each other, and he's like, I want that. I want to be free. I want to live a life and do whatever I want. And One Piece is going to be one of the ways to do that. So yeah, Luffy is pretty much a guy about friendship, loyalty, strong character, good soul, kind-hearted, and he also doesn't put himself in harm's way to protect others. Even people who, like Kobe, for example, who's not a strong character, Luffy would do things to make himself look bad to promote other people to get what their goals and dreams are. So Luffy's a good character, just solid. And this season, you see him step up a lot for other people, and yeah, he is your protagonist. Luffy is the protagonist of the story. He's just a good, kind-hearted shonen protagonist. Then you get Zorro, who is a very unique character. He uses 3 style swords versus 1 or 2. The third sword is in his mouth. He is a feared character at first. He's the pirate hunter, Roronoa Zorro. But then when he's about to get executed, Luffy saves him. Luffy joins his crew, and Zorro's goal is to become the greatest swordsman in the world. And there's a part where he meets the greatest swordsman in the world, who comes from the Grand Line to kind of hunt down Don Krieg, and Zorro fights Hawkeye Mihawk. Now, Hawkeye Mihawk is one of the 7 warlords of the sea. This is the first time you get introduced to them. This is the first time you get introduced to these pirates who are protected by the world government and do wherever they want, because their bounty is so strong, or their influence is so strong on the world, that the government, it's better for the government to have them underneath their wing than to go off and do their own thing. So Hawkeye Mihawk shows up after chasing down Don Krieg, and Zorro just gets lucky to fight him. And you see the difference between somebody who's been in the Grand Line versus somebody who's in the East Blue. Now, what is the East Blue? The East Blue is one of the 4 oceans that kind of make up the world. So the Grand Line splits the East Blue and split the 4 seas, and the red line kind of helps split them as well. So think of the equator as the grand line, and think of the prime meridian as the red line, which is a strip of land. Anyway, Hawkeye Mihawks leave the grand line after following Don Krieg, and Don Krieg is an introduction on how dangerous the grand line can really be. You know, you have met other characters so far in this series who've been there, don't really talk about it, but they've been there. But Don Krieg is the first one that kind of shows you what kind of dangers lies beyond the calm seas of the East Blue. But Hawkeye Mihawk shows up, fights Zorro, and kind of dismantle him pretty easily. And there's a lot going on here that I can't talk about yet because it'd be a spoiler for like future episodes. But when you go back, when I go back and rewatch One Piece now, and rewatch the first 30 episodes and watch this fight of Zorro versus Mihawk, some of the things that Mihawk does, I'm like, oh, he's using that ability. Oh, that's crazy. But we don't know about it. It's just shown, and then a lot more get explained later in the future, or I guess later seasons in One Piece. So nice little Easter eggs here, but yeah, Zorro fights Hawkeye Mihawk and learn real quickly how hard he has to train to become the #1 in the world. But Zorro is a guy who is about loyalty as well, holding true to who you are, and don't turn your back on your friends. But he's also has a bad sense of direction, I would say. But he's kind of like, not stubborn, bullheaded. Not even say bullheaded. He's laid back at times, but then when he makes his mind on something, he goes for it. So I ain't sure he's bullheaded, but he's a great first mate to Luffy. He's the first mate, the second in command to Luffy. Then you have Nami, who is a cat burglar. She steals treasure from pirates, and that's her mission. She's like, I'm stealing treasure from pirates. I don't like pirates. I despise pirates. But she see how Luffy and Zorro are compared to other people, so she decides to join them for the first part of this anime. And she's a cool character. She's the navigator. She helps the crew, gets around. She is the voice of reason so far in this season. Like, she kind of keeps Luffy and Zorro from getting all out of whack. But at the same time, she also has a kind heart as well and want to help out others. No one see people struggle either. But Nami is a cool character. To me, Nami, she's not just there. She actually has a purpose, but she's not a strong character in the crew. So she doesn't really do much as far as like battle wise. But as far as talking sense to characters and helping out, she does a good job right there within the first couple episodes here. But her story hasn't been really fleshed out yet. There's more to her story. Then you have Usopp. Usopp is the sharpshooter. He's also Usopp the liar. So Usopp is a character who, his dad is actually part of Redhead Shank's crew. So Luffy heard of Usopp when he was growing up, thanks to Yasopp, who is his father. But Usopp wants to be a pirate. He wants to be a man's man, if you really think about it. He wants to be a strong, courageous guy. Not even just a man's man, but like a strong, courageous guy. And Usopp wants to go to sea, but he's not really, he's kind of a Freddy cat as well. So he wants to be a strong, courageous pirate, but he's also a Freddy cat, and kind of tough for him to stand up to people. When he does stand up, you can see that like he might not win, but he wouldn't go all out. And you get to meet him halfway through the first half of this season, halfway through the first 30 episodes, and I think his arc is probably one of the best ones. He has a friend named Kaya who is a sick girl who Usopp goes and cheer her up every day, and when he gets confronted by Captain Kuro, who wants to like reveal his plans of killing Kaya and ransacking the village, Usopp and the Straw Hat crew, which is Nami, Zorro, and Luffy, band together to stop Captain Kuro. And it's some cool action sequences here, but Usopp really holds his own, and he a Freddy cat, but at the same time not afraid to step up and be strong in the moment. You know, he might not come out on top. He might not be the strongest character, but he's gonna do what he can do. And he's also a sharpshooter. He's good with sitting back and pinpointing and targeting bad guys. He used a slingshot within the first season here. So Usopp is definitely probably the most human of the group, but he is a character that also a little bit of comic relief as well. You know, Luffy does a good job being comic relief. Usopp does the same thing, and Nami can add some comedy relief to it as well. But that is the first 4 characters, the first 4 crewmates. Then you introduce Sanji, which in this season he doesn't want to join the crew when Luffy first sees him. When he gets to the Barate, or the Barate, if depending on how you watch it, 4 Kids or Funimation, Sanji is a cook who doesn't use his hands to handle his business. He uses his feet. So he fights with his legs all the time thanks to his mentor Red Shoe Zeph, who's also a pirate who uses his legs as well. But they both were chefs on this this restaurant ship called Barate, or if you depend on how you watch it. I keep saying it like that because I call it Barate because that's how 4 Kids had it, but it's Barate in the Funimation version. But Sanji's he's kind of like a cool, kind of collective character who's more of a ladies' man, but he's kind of like the Brock character where he wants ladies' attention. Every beautiful girl he sees, he falls over like, oh my gosh, you're gorgeous. And he is, in season 1, this part right here, the first half, has a strong sense of loyalty as well. That's one thing with the Straw Hats crew, they're all loyal to their friends. And he's the same way, but his goal is to see the all blue, which is a sea where all the fishes from all different seas, the North Blue, East Blue, West Blue, South Blue, come together in one area. And Sanji wants to pretty much make the greatest dish from those fishes. And that's his goal in this season. But he decided to join Luffy because Luffy fights for his goals and dreams. And Sanji's like, well, my goal is to go see the all blue. Luffy is going to be one of the best ways to get there. So I'm going to team up with Luffy because he also has a big goal of becoming the Pirate King. And Sanji really, after saying no and staying with the Barati, really gets convinced to go to sea with Luffy. But Sanji has one of those dudes who don't care who you are, if you're a bad guy, good guy, if you're starving, I'm going to feed you, because his backstory is based off sorrow and sadness where he was stranded for, you know, days and months on a rock with Chef Zeph, who was his mentor. And Zeph gave Sanji all his food and pretty much starved to death almost starved to death. But the way he was able to save himself, he cut his own leg off to eat off his leg while Sanji had food to eat. But they have a tragic backstory, but Sanji learns to not waste food on the sea. You never know when your last meal may come. So Sanji has a good heart as well, and that's one thing with the Straw Hat crew. They all have good hearts. They all have good hearts. Any other thoughts before going into like the last part of this review here for the first half of One Piece? Is the backstories for these characters are tragic. I think Usopp has a tragic backstory. Zorro has a tragic backstory. Luffy has a tragic backstory. Nami, you haven't got to her backstory yet, and that was something that you find kind of odd. That's why I say you feel like Nami doesn't really feel like a part of the crew yet, because technically she's not really. She doesn't really open up to them. She has a good time with them, but she's not opening up to them yet, and it's written that way. The second half of season 1, you'll get a little more into Nami's backstory as Nami kind of betrays the crew a little bit, in a sense, as she goes off to this pirate named Arlong, or goes somewhere where Arlong could be involved in. I'm trying not to be spoiled the second half of season 1. But yeah, Nami backstory doesn't get revealed yet, and you get more of that in the second half of season 1. But in the first half, as far as villains go, you have Alvina, who is a pirate captain. She's in the first episode. She's pointless at this point. You get One-Armed Morgan, Axe Hand Morgan, who doesn't really have much to do, as far as the storyline wise. He's just a menacing naval captain that gets beat by Luffy and Zorro. Then you get Buggy the Clown, who's probably the most, up to this point, the most decorative, the most colorful villain of the first half of One Piece here, and one of the most coolest powers is the Chop Chop fruit. I ain't even talk about powers yet, but Chop Chop fruit. So, because at this point, actually, Luffy and Captain Buggy are the only two who have devil fruit powers so far. The Chop Chop fruit and the Gum Gum fruit. So what are devil fruit powers, as I diverge here from Buggy the Clown? If you eat a devil fruit, you lose the ability to swim, but you gain mystical powers. Luffy ate the Gum Gum fruit, so he can't swim anymore, but he can stretch his body all over the place, which adds a little twist to the One Piece story. Buggy the Clown ate the Chop Chop fruit, so he's not able to swim either, but he's able to chop his body up and use his body as will, like as different pieces. And Buggy the Clown, probably the most colorful villain so far. He's menacing, but he's not. There's a different kind of menace about him. Like he's menacing, but he just pretty much wants his own treasure, like, and keep this town under his wing. And when Nami trying to steal from him, it's like, well, you trying to steal from me? I'm a pirate. I'm gonna steal from you too. But for the most part, like, he's not really. He wasn't out to kill anybody. Like, he let the village get out of the way. Besides Zorro and Luffy, he's gonna kill them. But like, he wasn't doing harm to others. He already taken over the town. He was just chilling. That was like his headquarters until Luffy and Nami don't come around and kind of free the town of Buggy's reign. But yeah, Buggy the Clown was an interesting character and a nice fight against him. And then Captain Kuro, who doesn't have abilities like a devil fruit, but he's able to move super quick. He uses called catwalk, as 4 kids call it, where he's able to move super fast and out of a bad technique where he just doesn't think and just starts slashing everything. He has these gloves that have blades on them, like and they're kind of furry gloves. And I don't know, he's just a cool dude. Kind of reminds of a cat, and he was menacing. Like, he probably one of the most cutthroat, meticulous characters. He thought about stuff so much longer than everybody else did, and he had these plans that he laid out. And Luffy kind of comes along and stop him. Luffy and Usopp come along and stop those plans. But yeah, Captain Cool was a cool character. And then there's Don Krieg, who just, to me, it was just a villain. It wasn't really much about him. He was big bad, want to take over your ship kind of thing. And it was up to Luffy and the ships of Barati to stop him. And that's about it. That's the first half of One Piece. The music is solid. You're gonna hear the music over and over again, like every single time. Like the first 30 episodes, the same soundtrack, and it doesn't change. I will say that the music is still the same music from episode 1 it is episode 1000. But the music's good though. And then animation, the animation is solid. I'm watching it on Netflix right now. It looks cleaner, crisp, but it's still solid animation. Yes, you'll see some of the details and designs from the early, from late 1990s and early 2000s, but it's still solid, still holds up today, still colorful, still comical and goofy. It's just a solid anime. Is this an anime you should watch? Yes. Give this anime a shot. Watch it, enjoy it. Watch it in pieces though, like I'm doing it right now. So you're gonna sit here and watch a review with me. Do it. Go watch it and come back and sit on it. I'm gonna review episode 31 to 62 next. I think 62 or 61 next. So I'm going to review that. But yeah, if it's your first time watching One Piece and this experience here is your first experience, yeah, join the ride with me. I'm gonna talk about it. We'll sit down and talk about it once you get done and keep the ball rolling. So, grading time. I definitely think this is an anime you should watch. Yes, grading time. I'm gonna grade One Piece season 1 part 1 a B+. It gets a B+ from me. The reason why it gets a B+ from me is the Don Krieg arc. I feel like it wasn't that solid of a character, but everybody else was really good. Like, I enjoyed everybody else. The backstories on characters I enjoyed. The storyline writing for it, details. But Don Krieg he's a very forgettable villain. Forgettable. Everybody else, Buggy the Clown, you can remember his design, remember how cool he is. Kuro's cool, design looking, and then Morgan and Avita doesn't matter. It was just pretty much plot villains that have set up the introduction of Kobe and introduction of Zorro, which Kobe is a character who you thought was gonna be a member of the crew, but Kobe really wanted to be a naval captain. So Luffy kind of bring him underneath his wing. They kind of team up and they go separate ways within the first like 8 episodes. So Kobe's just kind of there as a side character for a moment, but you get a little backstory on him too. And I do like how One Piece, I don't care how big or small the character is, they do give you something on them and why they are there. So it's good world building. But yeah, it's a B+, the first half of this season. And I'm looking forward to rewatching the second half of season 1 and see how that either turns out to be an A or it stays a B. Or it falls to a C. Who knows? But that's my review of One Piece season 1, part 1, episode 1 to episode 30. If you've seen One Piece, the first half of season 1, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you in the next episode when we break down series review and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all and keep being awesome.